he was staying as a special guest of Khan Bahadur Mushtaq Ahmad Gurmani. And Gurmani was living in that building.
Okay.
Khan Bahadur Mushtaq Ahmad Gurmani was the director of technical training, but he was Khan Bahadur and a prominent Muslim leader. So he was staying in his house as a special guest. Pre-independence, Zafrullah Khan, brother of Khan Bahadur Wafat Khan, an Indian member of the Viceroy's Council, was one of the occupants of the South. During the freedom movement, eminent national leader like Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Govind Ballabh Pant, Maulana Azad stayed here on their visit to Simla for discussion with the British. Oh, you see, the prejudices are so strong. Prejudices are so strong that this is the only name omitted.
Whose name?
Ambedkar. You see, when you mention Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Govind Ballabh Pant, and Maulana Azad stayed here. Ambedkar stayed here.
And they haven't mentioned it?
No. Prejudices are so strong.
So you met him here. Can you tell us about when exactly, which year probably you met him, and how long you waited? Can you recollect that?
I think I've told you many times that I waited for 6 to 7 hours outside the building, and he was staying here as he had come as
Labour member.
Labour minister. Labour member of the Viceroy's Executive Council, and his ministry was here in Chamber.
Which year was this when you met him?
43.
1943.
But they didn't mention his name. Prejudices are so strong, and I've got a bitter experience in my life. I was born in 1927.
27, okay.
23rd of April, because you can add 23 with 4 and you get 27. I was born in 27. I belong to an untouchable community which is untouchable among the untouchable.
Which is?
Sweepers. My father was Ramdatta, but mother was from a Muslim, semi-Muslim family, and her name was Kheratan.
Who else is there in the picture?
This is my younger brother who's no more, and this is I, and this is my sister, because she's also died.
And what is this here?
This is gramophone. It was fashionable to purchase gramophone in those days. My father was well off.
Yeah.
He belonged to an affluent family. His father was a conductor in army, and he supplied working class, sweeping class in sweepers and cabins to the army. After his death, his elder son took over, and my father and his younger brother, they came to an ancestral home in Simla, and he started life as a watchman in the Wallace Towers at 3 rupees a month.
कौन सा है ancestral property?
यही तो है. I was very fond of studying. At home, the tutor came, Maulvi, and he taught me and my sister.
What would the Maulvi teach?
Maulvi, he taught us Urdu.
Urdu, okay.
And we went to school, and
What school was this?
Cantonment Board Primary School.
Okay.
When my father went to get me admitted to school, then what he wrote,
Yeah.
because we were not Hindus, so he wrote what was popular name, Khakru.
What?
Khakru.
Khakru. What does it mean?
Well, it means it's not the name of the sweepers. Khakru, one who picks up dust and sweeps.
Oh, and Khakru. Okay.
The teachers used to come from DAV school and SD school and Butler school, asking the headmaster to recommend the best boys, and they would take. So the boy who stood first in the class, he was taken to DAV school,
DAV school, okay.
and I was second. He was taken to SD school. But in SD school, Sanathanam school, there was a period for teaching religion. And we were 5 boys, 1 Christian, 2 Muslims, 2 untouchables, 3 untouchables. And among the untouchables, I was the only person who was not interested in studying religion, Hindu religion. But the 2, Garib Das and Gyanchand, were keen, and they were not admitted to the religious section.
They were not admitted. Maybe because they were Dalit?
Yeah. In our neighborhood, there lived 3 British families.
Okay.
And there was one family, Andrews, A. Andrews, Alexander Andrews.
Okay.
And they took special care to see that I speak correct English and with good pronunciation. They were missionaries who loved me very much. And while going to school and while going to the office, I used to drop in there, and we read the Bible But they didn't ask me to embrace Christianity. But this gentleman, this lady, they looked after me like parents for about 7 or 10 years. So I was much influenced by them. In my family, my father used to call him not Ambedkar.
Baba Saheb.
No, Umidkar.
Umidkar.
Yeah, the person who brought hope.
Hope.
He was very fond of it. Then he used to read in the newspapers whatever was published about him. And he talked about it.
Do you recall the names of any of those newspapers? What were the newspapers of that period?
Riyasat,
Riyasat,
Milap,
Milap,
Madina, and Pratap, and Zamindar.
Did your father have a position on Gandhi as well?
No.
What did he think of Gandhi?
Oh no, Gandhi was not popular among our people.
At all?
Gandhi was not popular. It's only a few people in Simla who were Gandhian.
So, when did you first see him, Baba Saheb
Well,
Umidkar?
I used to hear a lot about him because my father, and also because of the meetings in Simla and in the newspapers. Then he was appointed as a labor minister, and labor ministry was, labor department was located in the Gorton Castle. So I wanted to see him, and I waited for 7 hours sitting outside. And one of his assistants said, बैठे रहो मन मिलाएंगे आपसे. And Ambedkar called me. So, yes, क्या चाहिए? Then I said in English, I wanted to see you, and I'm employed as an accounts clerk in PWD, but I want to serve in your department. Have you applied for it? He said, he spoke in English. Yes, I said I applied for it, but I didn't get any reply. That's all. So he said, okay, you can go. And within 15 days' time, I got the appointment letter and I joined Ministry of Labour.
Where, in Shimla or in Delhi?
In Delhi, in Shimla.
In Shimla, okay. Clearly the following of Baba Saheb Ambedkar is increased after his death than during his lifetime.
No, during his lifetime, especially when he was Labour member, I think his following increased in spite of Gandhi, in spite of Congress propaganda.
He used to draw crowds.
I'm saying so because I was in Simla, and we had a very strong unit in favor of Ambedkar.
What was it called? What is it?
Well, it was later on called Scheduled Class Federation, but in those days it was followers of Ambedkar. The organization was Ambedkarite. Telegram Bedouin was the leader. And we talked about only Ambedkar and his party and his movement. And he had various schemes. He had various schemes in the Ministry of Labour. In the Ministry of Labour, and people had benefited because they were undergoing training in armed forces. They were undergoing training in the civil training centers, and some people he had managed to send to England and They were undergoing training and they came back and held very important positions.
Ah, look at these pictures.
It was an Air Force. And these are my colleagues.
Where is this?
This was taken in Jitok
Okay.
on a holiday. I was employed in labor, and the Hindu officers make my life miserable.
Hindu officers. Okay. Why they were?
In that ministry.
In what ways? Can you recall some of the incidents?
See, I used to reach office at about 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But they loaded me with so much work that I couldn't finish up to 7 o'clock.
Okay.
But my other colleagues, Mohammedans and Hindus, they didn't have as much work to do. So my life was made miserable. So I left. I decided to leave.
How long did you work there then?
I worked there for a few months.
That's all. Okay.
And then I joined Air Force.
What did you do in the Air Force?
I wanted to be a pilot. But when I went to the recruiting officer, he said, no, it is not possible for me.
To make you a pilot?
But you can join one of the technical jobs. So I said, I'll join as a wireless operator. So he recruited me as a wireless operator.
What is that?
It's a war medal. Yeah, this was the one issued there. Air Force. This is the color of the Air Force. Then I was recommended for commission, and I was to go to England. But the trouble was that they wanted me to deposit 5,000 rupees. The order was you deposit 5,000 rupees, you go to England, expenses will be borne by the Air Force, and you'll go undergo training in London as a pilot.
As a pilot.
But I couldn't manage 5,000 rupees. Then I asked for release and came back to Simla.
You didn't want to continue to work as a radar operator?
I do.
Okay.
But the salary and staying separately away from the family was creating problems for me.
You were in the Air Force. Were you known as delete or scheduled caste or whatever, or were you hiding yourself? Because some people do that.
No, I don't know. But Hindus didn't like me.
Yeah.
Because I took beef.
Yeah.
And Muslims didn't like me because I took pork and bacon.
Even today, I think probably deletes are not very conscious of collecting and chronicling their own history. That contrasts now to some extent with blacks. I mean, you can go and see these nice black history, black military history that they're very fascinated by. And there are lots of parallels here because it was a time when deletes played a very big role in the military. In the British military, and even before that, I think in Shivaji's army, for instance, and so, all this material in U.S. gets very much collected. Now, you've done some of this.
Well, I went back to Simla and found employment in Ministry of, in the office of the Comptroller and Auditor General. I continued in that department for about 14 or 15 years.
In Shimla?
No, in Simla, of course, 3 years.
Okay.
Then Delhi.
Around the time of independence, what was the mood then? I mean, among especially the Dalit communities and...
No, we were afraid.
You were afraid. What was your fear?
You see, because the general attitude of the Hindus and the Muslims was not very sympathetic
To?
towards us.
Towards the Dalits, yeah.
And in our neighborhood, there was a princely state where the atrocities were committed on coolies and chamars. One state which became notorious for killing innocent people was Dhami.
Dhami, okay.
It was only, what, 4 miles from us. Most of the Hindu intellectuals and political leaders, they talked very boldly and in favor of many things,
Such as?
equality and freedom and so on. But in everyday life, they practiced untouchability in some form or other. And they never forgot that we were from the untouchable background. That hostility was there. But outwardly they were friendly. And because of the partition, there was no fear of Muslims, no fear of Christians. So they were independent, and it was a Hindu Raj. You couldn't even draw water from the tap. And if we touched it, they used to come and wash it before.
Where was this? In Shimla?
Shimla. They used to wash it and then switch it on. I mean, turn it on. So that was the day. And for barber, no barber in my city, cantonment area, was prepared to cut my hair.
So where would you get your hair cut?
I used to go to Simla
To the town?
town, and there were shops who didn't inquire about the caste. So I went to the Muslim shop, I went to the Hindu shop. They didn't inquire about the caste. They just cut the hair and got money.
When did you move to Delhi?
Oh,
After,
in Delhi, office moved 2 or 3 years after independence.
Okay.
Office was located in Kapurthala House, which is on Mansingh Road. I came across this man because he used to pass that way and saw me reading. And one day he found me reading
Who saw you reading?
Shiv Dayal Singh Chaurasia.
Okay.
He was a member of the Backward Classes Commission.
Okay.
So he said, why are you reading this book? Ambedkar's biography. I said, I belong to the untouchable community. Untouchable community? He said, come in. Because nobody would say. So he took me inside. He was from the Backward Classes Commission. He was to write a report. And he assigned me that job.
What report was it?
It was not of dissent on Backward Classes Commission against the report which was being submitted.
Was this the way it was, the entrance and all that?
Well, the building was small.
Okay.
It had 4 or 5 rooms,
Okay.
and almost all were full of books. I was taken by Mr. Chaurasia to his residence. And there he said many things, and I had a book in my hand written by a British writer on Darwin.
On Darwin. You don't recall the author?
I don't remember, but it was on Darwin.
Okay.
And he happened to see that book because I'd borrowed it from the library or purchased it from People's Publishing House, because we used to go to People's Publishing House. It's a communist shop.
I know.
So he said, "What's that book?" I was surprised, but then I said, "It's that book. Show me." I showed it. I knew that he has got a weakness for books. If it is not in his library, he might borrow it and keep it. It will be difficult to get it back. I said, I passed on the book. Well, he said, it's written by, he mentioned a name, who wrote Survival of the Strongest Person. Well, I heard, and I said, you'll excuse me, sir, he didn't advocate this theory.
Who?
The writer. I was talking about the writer. He was talking about the writer. Oh, he said, we wrote that book on Survival of the Strongest. And I said, you'll excuse me, sir. What he wrote was that if some species fail to make adjustment with the changing environment, they become extinct. Oh, yes, yes. Have you done PhD? I said, no. After about 15 minutes' time, he again put me this question. Have you done PhD? I was surprised. I said, I've never been to any college. And I possess no degrees. Oh, it doesn't matter. What matters is the knowledge and so on.
One second, I've asked him to bring you a chair. You don't have to bend. He'll bring you a chair.
Okay.
ये चप्पल का बस एक रूल बना दिए, लेकिन बाकी सब कुछ भी नहीं है अंदर, कुछ भी नहीं। ये रखो अंदर। हाँ, ये बस यहीं पे रखो, बस वो बैठ के जूते उतारे। You can sit there, sir.
Shall I take off?
Yeah. What do you think of this whole ritual of removing chappals for this? What do you make of this whole thing of removing chappals for this?
I don't know.
Is this necessary? Would Baba Saheb have ambedkar?
No. I used to enter his house, and I didn't have to remove my shoes.
But what has changed? Why are we being made to
I think it must have been, they must have been influenced by Hindu officers.
Hindu officers? So this is a Hindu influence of...
Yeah. I used to go there and work there 4 days in a week.
What was the nature of your work?
He used to give me to a subject and to find literature and references from the books in his library. And if I came across something of interest outside, I used to make a note and tell him that I came across this stuff.
Did you happen to meet his wife, Savitabai?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Can you tell us something about it?
She used to say, do you really belong to scheduled caste? I mean, she didn't believe.
Why would he ask that?
Well, because of my mannerism and because of my command over the language and my habits of reading. She's sitting here. I had talk about Buddhism and put a question to him. I said, Baba Sahib, you are very fond of Buddhism. I come from Himachal Pradesh and we have a lot of Buddhists staying in 2 districts. But I don't feel attracted because they practice untouchability and they have casteism also.
Within Buddhism?
Yeah. So
what was his reply?
his reply was, for some time he kept quiet and then he said, it won't happen now. Okay.
But you weren't convinced? And you didn't convert with him?
Well, I embraced Buddhism after his death, a few days after his death.
What changed your impression?
My impression was changed after he embraced lakhs of people. I mean, he converted.
So did you go to Nagpur when it happened?
No, I didn't go. I went earlier and I went later. But I found, I mean, I read in the newspapers that lakhs of people had joined him in Bombay and Nagpur and embraced Buddhism. And that was, according to me, it had never happened in history because nobody among religious leaders, say Lord Jesus Christ and Prophet Muhammad, nobody had been able to
Convert
so many people. And this was a unique experience in the history of the world. After his death, because I didn't want to die a Hindu, I didn't want to be recognized as a Hindu. I could have embraced Christianity, but I didn't want to. I could have embraced Islam because partly my mother
was also half Muslim.
But then I thought Ambedkar chose Buddhism. So after reading his books and literature, I embraced Buddhism, and My marriage was also soulmate according to Buddhist rite. Mr. Chaurasia, he was in touch with an untouchable family in Lucknow, and they belonged to the Dhanuk caste.
Dhanuk caste, okay.
And there was a young lady in that community who had done M.A, M.ed. So I don't know what was his relation with that family or what was it. But she came to sit for the IAS examination.
Okay, okay.
And he had advised them to come and stay with me. So they stayed with us in the...
What was the name of this woman?
Rama Devi.
Okay.
She stayed with us for 2 days along with the brother because brother had accompanied her. She sat for the examination. But when during the talk, I talked about IAS examination and I talked about the general knowledge, I found she was lacking.
She was lacking.
And even though she had studied in very prominent colleges of Lucknow.
Of Lucknow, okay.
And Christian colleges.
And you had just done your matriculation and done your jobs here and there. You had not...
No, I had not.
You had not done any degree or anything. And you found her lacking in...
Yeah. And then after some time, Chaurasia took me to Simla, to Lucknow.
Lucknow.
And he said, how would you like to get married with that woman who visited you? I said, I'm not prepared. I've got a large family to support.
Your family had moved to Delhi by then?
No.
They were in Shimla?
They were in Shimla. So, I didn't know that he had arranged the marriage. And in the next day, he took me to their residence, and Bhikkhu from the Buddha center was present there. And this marriage was announced.
But your consent was not really taken?
No. I found it awkward to put his position in jeopardy.
When did you do your graduation and other things and LLB?
Oh, actually, that was an accident.
Did you have to enroll in a college or how did it?
No, just prepared at home.
Okay.
I didn't join any college. And then after that BA, I did my M.A. and then I did L.L.B. from Delhi University as a regular student.
Okay.
3-year course. I started practicing law in T. Hazari Court. I did it for a few months on the criminal side. But I didn't like the way the lawyers worked there. They tried to fleece their clients. I couldn't do it. I fixed my fee and I wanted it. Whereas they got a lot of money by using means which according to me they were not honest.
What does that say, All India?
All India Reporter, 75, Allahabad, Andhra Pradesh, and this is my name. So I joined as a junior to Mr. P.P. Rao, who was my professor in university.
P.P. Rao.
He had come to Supreme Court. So I joined as junior, and I worked for about 5 years with him. northern India, after 1879, there was mass conversion of sweepers as Christians in two districts.
1879.
1879 it
Where
started.
did this happen?
Sialkot and Gurdaspur. And the man who did it, his name was Ditta. Ditta.
Dikta.
D-I-T-T. Yeah, he belonged to this community, but he worked as a salesman. He went to frontier area with clothes and cloth for sale, and he came back there. So he led this conversion.
He was a Dalit himself. He was
Yeah.
Okay.
He belonged to the super community.
But which missionary group worked with them?
Missionary groups were against conversion of untouchables. They believed, I mean, especially people in northern India, Punjab and UP, they believed that if upper caste people are converted to Christianity, the lower caste people will come automatically. This is what so they emphasize on conversion of upper caste people. And there was poor response because upper caste people, very few did it for religion, but many did for better jobs. So it didn't work. It didn't make much progress. But then when Ditta embraced Christianity, there was a Christian missionary who thought, why not concentrate on that? And he was a friend of Ditta, who converted Ditta. When Ditta approached him, he gave him the Bible, and he said, you come after reading it. And this Ditta, he went to him after a month with family to embrace Christianity. He was surprised. But then both husband and wife went inside the room, prayed to God, came out, and then converted him, baptized him. This is Valmiki.
But since when did
Very
they start
recent adoption by these people. The so-called Valmiki, who was once upon a time Lalbegi.
Lalvi?
Yeah. You see,
Which is what
yeah,
this book says.
yeah. I'll show you. This is 1869.
Okay. 1891, census of 1891.
Yeah,
Yeah. Distribution of Bhangis according to the census of
yeah, 1891. Now, this is the Valmiki.
Okay.
What is the population?
6105.
6,105. What is the population of the Lalbegi?
1,63,751.
Yeah. And these people, these Helas and
Helas and
Danuk and
Dhanuks
so on, their population is very small.
Very small.
But then, when they started converting and embracing Christianity,
Yeah. The Hindu Mahasabha and others got active.
yeah, Hindu leaders became more interested in checking that conversion
Yeah.
because that will bring them closer to the European government,
Yeah.
and also the Hindus will be losing their population. So they carried on the propaganda to keep them within the Hindu fold. And this Valmiki was introduced, and
The myth that it was the myth that Valmiki is the author of Ramayana and you belong to that
yeah,
caste.
he was their guru, and so on. And
So now the Lalbegi population has come down and
no,
Valmiki is increasing.
indeed, Lalbegis are few thousand now.
So they've all become Valmikis.
see, because in city life, you exercise a lot of pressure because most of them are employed in the local bodies, municipal committees, cantonment boards, station staff officer, army, and so on. So if you keep them backward, they will stick to this occupation and they will not move out. And because of the caste feeling, they will not pay attention to the other leaders who are speaking.
What was Gandhi's position on?
Gandhi's position was anything that weakens Hinduism is bad. It was all right when he said abolish untouchability and so on. But at the same time, he said, especially addressing the sweepers, don't give up this work. Now, this is a contradiction. And don't give up Hinduism, because this will lead you to a better world in your next birth. So this somehow didn't appeal to the untouchables. It didn't appeal. And he also said that you don't embrace Christianity. He wanted to promote Hinduism without getting rid of casteism. He said 4 varnas are very important. Yes, but 4 varnas, how about 1500 castes? This is what his emphasis was. If he's born in a particular caste, Ambedkar said, will he change it? A varna. So Gandhi's replies were not very satisfactory and not answering the question raised by Ambedkar. Ambedkar said he gave up this occupation and he gets educated and accept better jobs. And Gandhi said, no, you don't give up this occupation.
So they were very, very different.
Yeah. That enlightened me.
Yeah.
And one reason why the sweepers have become backward and made little progress is because of Gandhi's teachings and Gandhi's influence. Samartha made more progress. Maharashtra made more progress.
That happened, yes.
But the Bhangis, the sweepers and scavengers, they have made little progress because of Gandhi's interference.
So this was the first collection you put together. And when was this? Let's see. Doesn't say much about the year. 12 rupees. All these simultaneously?
This was 63.
63. B.K. Gaikwad had written the foreword. How did you team up with Bali? You put the editorial inputs into it and he published it, or what was the work like? How did you do the collection?
Well, I had been keeping clippings in my own house. But then I also collected
Newspaper clippings?
A number of papers. And then I had been collecting from the Delhi Public Library and the Central Secretariat Library. So I collected a lot of speeches from there. And then I got some matter from Parliament House. I purchased things published by them, the reports, and collected the speeches of Dr. Ambedkar, which he delivered in Parliament. So that way I collected it, and I brought 4 volumes of Thus Spoke Ambedkar.
And these were brought out by Bhim Patrika?
Yes, early stages they were brought out by Bhim Patrika. These are the old friends here. Bajwan, President, Republican Party, Himachal Pradesh.
एल.एल.ब
editor being
पत्रिका and biographer of Professor Ambedkar.
Professor Elliot.
Professor Mark Galanter of Law School Medicine. Professor Elder and Professor Frickenberg of Wisconsin. So all these people are being acknowledged.
Yeah. No, you see, I was invited by, after I went to the UNO and I gave presented a paper, delivered a speech.
When was this?
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay. And what did you say in that?
Oh, a lot of things. Untouchability of Asia. It covered a lot of fields.
Okay. समाज बदल गया क्या तब से?
बदल तो बहुत ज़्यादा गया, बहुत ज़्यादा बदल गया।
लेकिन जातिवाद
अब ऐसा होगा ना कि हमारे लोग तो चले गए बहुत आगे, वो लोग आगे पीछे। कि जो सतयुग था ना, अब है हमारे लिए सतयुग, वो कलयुग था।
वो कलयुग
था। अब सतयुग है, तो इसीलिए तो अभी तो बहुत बदल गया जमाना। हम तो बहुत आगे निकल गए साहब, फॉरवर्ड चले गए आगे। ले भाई ले। बहुत आगे चले गए साहब बहादुर। अब बल्कि हम लोग शूट करते हैं उनसे।
आप लोग करते हो?
हम करते हैं।
कैसे करते हैं?
यानी अगर वो कहते भी आप पानी पी लो, मैंने कहा मैं पीकर आया, अब नहीं पिया वो, मैंने कहा पानी। चाय में कहा नहीं पिया।
अब आप दूसरी जाति में शादी कर रहे हैं आपके जाति से?
2 लड़कियां हमारे तो।
शर्मा कास्ट से।
शर्मा।
किसी ने कंप्लेन करी होगी ना, तब केवल ठीक करने आए थे। तब बस मैं बाहर खड़ी थी, ऐसे ही पूछ लिया था। फिर उन्होंने आपका नाम क्या है, क्या करते हैं, बस।
ये तो सिनेमा जैसा लग रहा है।
तो मम्मी ने बोला कि तो भेजा लेगी उनके घर में। तो मैंने बोला तो क्या हुआ, वो कौन सा अलग है, जैसे वो है वैसे हम हैं। तो मम्मी ने मुझे मारा।
अब ठीक ठाक है सब?
हाँ जी, अब तो 5 इयर्स हो गए।
5 इयर्स हो गए।
हाँ जी।
लड़का भी है?
हाँ जी।
नाम क्या लड़के?
वंश।
नहीं है।
हाँ जी।
आपको मैं बताऊं?
हाँ जी।
मैं इस कम्युनिटी में पैदा हुआ हूँ।
हाँ जी।
मीट नहीं खाता।
हाँ जी।
एयरफोर्स में रहा।
हाँ जी।
तो मीट खाया, एयरफोर्स से वापस आ गया, मीट छोड़ दिया।
नहीं, कम्युनिटी की बात नहीं है, दिल की बात होती है। जिसको वो तो कोई और भी होगा, जिसको अच्छा लगेगा वही खाएगा ना।
नहीं, हमारे घर में तो रोज।
हाँ जी। भाई ना, आपका दिल नहीं करता तभी तो आप खाते नहीं हो।
कोई बताते हैं।
कोई मजहबी रीजन नहीं है, धार्मिक रीजन नहीं है, पसंद की बात। What's the use of just living? I'm 82 already, and by the time I reach 83, I think I will have no energy left because eyesight is failing.
What are the books you're writing, working on right now?
That's what I want to complete.
Yeah. What are the works you're attempting right now?
Now, one thing that I told you about untouchability in Asia.
Yeah.
That is a last book that I'm working on. Okay. But then I've written 23 books already.
Okay.
I've always advocated voluntary retirement and voluntary killing. Because it's no use being a burden to other people.
Nobody sees.
And especially in my family, my son is the only person who's most of the time busy. and I do not want to be a burden to him. His family is in America, and he might go to America. And there is nobody in the family or in my community or among the scheduled caste who is come to help me. So as soon as I finish my work, because I'm collecting a lot of information from libraries and other places, so as soon as I complete this work, I'll have no desire to live.